please do not record or photograph any of our proceedings and do not post them on social media. I'm saying that affirmatively, and if anyone does record or post any of our proceedings, then I can hold you in contempt of court, and that includes issuing a warrant for your arrest, okay? Sometimes it's the participants in this court that actually try to embarrass somebody and post it, but please don't do that. It's not acceptable, okay?
I do.
Okay, you can go ahead and mute. Well, you can stay unmuted for a moment. It looks like there's an income deduction order, and he's making payments, weekly payments. So at this point, he's not in violation of any law. He only has 980 past due. So we're not, excuse me?
Oh, no, I'm listening.
Okay. There's some background now. So since he's paying and it's coming out of his paycheck now, we're not able to issue a criminal warrant. The case, he's been paying, he's working. So, and he's not that far past due. So we would have given him an opportunity to get on track, but it looks like it's coming directly out of his paycheck. So the case is going to be dismissed because it is coming out of his paycheck. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. You're welcome. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye. So all I want.
So, on this case on position 1, Ms. Carson, before we bring her in, it looks like he's supposed to be paying $650, and it looks like he's making voluntary payments, but we haven't received anything since the 22nd. Is that right, or have you no updated payments?
Right. He made some payments in the past, so just got dismissed it, but I guess she's not satisfied with the payments that are coming in now. And the last one was January 22nd, so he's just not paying enough.
Okay. Is this the first time it's been on the calendar? Do we know, Ms. Ford? I don't see any docket notes.
Yeah, my notes don't show anything else since that 11/3 time when Judge Scott dismissed it.
Okay, and I believe I'll have Ms. Ford state on the record that we have not been able to contact him, so I'll have to talk to her. You can bring her in, please.
That's correct. I reached out to him, emailed him several times, and he has not answered.
Okay.
I can see if I've got a phone number. If you don't have one, I can see if I've got one.
Okay. So sorry that you're not feeling well. So you filed the abandonment calendar. Mr. Carrington is under an order to pay $650 per month. It looks like in December, he paid a total of approximately $500 or more. Then in January, he made a payment of a voluntary payment, and he's not paying the full amount, but he's making payments. And so we haven't received any payments since January 22nd. But since that payment, it's not a full 30 days. We're not able to reach him in any of the methods that you gave us to try to contact him because we try to get them to come to court. When is the last time that you've had any contact with Mr. Carrington?
We do not speak. So it was when we had court because he missed October's payment altogether. That's why I filed.
Okay. Well, moving forward, he has made some payments. So technically, I'm not at the point where I can issue. It has to be a full month with no payment at all. And so he's still in February. He has the opportunity to make a payment, but I'm trying to determine how we could reach him to see what's going on and why he's making partial payments from half of the $650, because in order to issue a criminal warrant, I have to make a decision that he completely has the ability to pay and he's not paying. So we have a phone number. Hold on one second. Do you have an email address for him by any chance?
No, ma'am, I don't. I can look up his phone number for you, but I don't understand why he missed the whole payment in October. That's why I filed a warrant, ma'am. So this is what he does. It's been 12 years of this, ma'am. It's very frustrating. I have filed more warrants than I can count. This is what he does. He gets $6,000 tax-free a month in disability and still refuses to pay like he should.
Okay. Well, there's two issues. One, there's criminal issues and that can be addressed, or you could file a contempt, which I think that may be but it shows that he doesn't even live in the state anymore. So you gave us an address in Cobb County. We have information that he lives out of state. And so there's a different process. So I understand your frustration, but we can't just issue a warrant because he missed October, but I have to look at is he paying when he comes before the court? And Judge Scott actually dismissed it, but I will recall the dismissal and go forward with the case. But it looks like he lives out of state is what we're getting. I have the attorney from DCSS. Ms. Carson, can you enlighten any information? If you have any, we need to be able to reach him to come to court, Ms. Combs. I understand your frustration, but to issue a criminal warrant, it's a different process than just issuing a warrant. I have to know that he was served and came to court. And I don't have proof of service on that yet.
I sent Ms. Ford a phone number that we have.
Okay, so
and that's the same phone number that we have as well, Judge.
No, okay. Do you have, who shared with me, Ms. Carson, you shared an out-of-state address?
I didn't provide the whole address. I just provided the state where we have him listed as living. Okay. I can, though.
And the court, I'm sorry, Judge, excuse me, the court has addressed the Smyrna address.
Yes, I see that, but the attorney, Ms. Carson is sharing that he lives in Louisiana. So that if we have records that he lives in Louisiana, then I definitely can't issue the warrant because it goes through an interstate child support agency that would be able to issue, that has to handle the case. And so it's
So
called,
how do I go about that?
it's the UWIFSA division. And I'll let the attorney from DCSS share with you how to handle that with the UWIFSA division. And you can also file a contempt, and they can help you with that, because if you're claiming he has the ability to pay and he's not, that may not be enough for a criminal warrant, but you could file a motion for contempt through child support. What they'll do is they'll file a contempt, but if he lives in another state, not sure how they can serve him. And then that judge can decide if he has the ability to pay and he's refusing to, which is what you're saying. Then at that
Yes.
point, the judge can hold him in contempt and order him to pay a lump sum amount. Like right now, it says he's passed through $2,000+, and the judge can order him to pay a percentage of that. And if he refuses to pay, then at that point, they could issue a warrant for his arrest, and he will sit in jail until he pays the full amount. The standards for a civil contempt are different than a criminal warrant being issued. And because we're showing records that he's out of state, we're going to have to process it through a different agency. Ms. Carson, can you share with her the UWIFSA?
It's a Cobb County case, so I don't know what I can try to send an email, but I don't have any information on their UWIFSA division, but I'll send an email to the cab manager and have her reach out. We have an email address for Ms. Coma.
Okay, now the phone number that you gave us, I mean, Ms. Ford, when you called, did anybody answer, or what happened when you called that number?
No one answered, but I left 3 messages on his phone. I called on the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th of this week.
Okay. I think you're best served with filing a contempt, because the Superior Court doesn't have to go through the criminal warrant standards that we have to follow in order to issue a criminal warrant. But but filing a contempt through child support could get you before a judge. It does take a moment, but DSS sent information that father. Have you received any? Do you know his family? Do you know anybody?
No, ma'am. He abandoned me when I was pregnant. So it's been 12 years of this, ma'am. He's just been ducking and dodging.
Okay, so
Your Honor,
guys got DNA
if I could, Ms. Coma, I'm wondering, he's on a disability, so he's getting
Yes.
automatic checks, and I'm wondering, have you applied for your child to get dependent benefits from this?
I have not. I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah, then the Social Security Administration would send the money directly to you.
Okay, how do I go about that?
Yeah, you'd have to contact Social Security to see what the status is, because I don't know when he applied, if he applied to get your child's benefits paid to him. If he did, then he's getting the money and he should send it to you, but you may be able to arrange it to be sent directly to you.
So did he
Okay.
sign the birth certificate and take DNA to confirm he's the father, Ms. Coma?
He took DNA unwillingly. He is the father. He is not on the birth certificate. He has been completely absent.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to find out, because they're going to want evidence that he's the
Right.
father. When you
Paternity
go-
has
Yeah,
been
there is
established.
DNA. Yes.
Okay, so paternity has been established, and that's how you got your court order. All right, so maybe you want to try that route, because then it will come directly to you. I'm sure it's not a short process, but all you have to do is establish that he is the father of the child. And if he's getting, I've never heard of anybody getting $6,000 a month, but if he's getting that much money, then your child will get a substantial amount of that directly. So maybe follow through with that process, and then you can contact Cobb County to tell them you need to follow. She's reached out to them to follow through, but I think your best bet at this point is to go ahead and go to Social Security. If you have a Social Security number or his information, then provide that you have a minor child with him, and then hopefully your child could get the support directly. It could take upwards of 4 to 6 months to get done, but it's worth it, because then you'll receive consistent support for the rest of your child's life.
Okay, I would appreciate that. But I don't have his social security number, but they should still be able to go after it, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so contact Social Security and then contact Cobb County DFACS and file contempt.
Well,
Yes,
not,
to follow.
not defects, but I'm sending an email to the manager of DeKalb to ask her to give you the contact for Cobb UIFSA. It has, once he moves out of state, it needs to go through the interstate department. Like right now, you're just with the agency that deals with in-state, but we have an agency, Uniform Interstate Family Support, that you need to go through so that they can transfer the case out to the state he lives in, and then an agency there will go after him, and they'll have better ways to get him in court and contempt him, that sort of thing.
Okay. All right, ladies. Thank you. I appreciate your help.
Okay, hope you feel better.
Alrighty,
Have a
both
good
of you
day.
can
Come on,
Okay.
Mr.
Alright,
Johnson, if you
thank
come
you.
on video for me, please. All right, so good morning to everybody. In this case, we are dealing with 13-year-old who lives in DeKalb County with dad. Mom is under an order to pay child support of $292, but because there's a past due amount, she's supposed to be paying an additional $100 a month for a total of $392 is the total payment. $292 is the payment that I need to be seeing on a monthly basis. It looks like the payments, mom made a payment of $630 in March. We always go to the last 3 payments. Then in October, $55 probably with some fees. And then it looks like there may have been some type of intercept of some sort back in November. I don't know if that was a voluntary payment. This is the attorney from DCSS, so if there's any information, she'll provide it. So if I can get both of you to raise your right hands for me, please. Do you swear affirm any testimony you're about to present to the court will be the truth? So you can just nod your head and say, I do.
I do.
Okay. So in this case, we're going to unmute mom. We're going to mute dad and unmute mom. Miss Huffman, you can unmute. So Miss Huffman, you have been under an order to pay the $292. It looks like you're past due on child support. Haven't made any, I guess, voluntary payments since October, and so we need to get an update on the case to find out what's going on and why you're not providing the support on a monthly basis.
I'm currently not employed.
Okay, well, when is the last time that you were employed? Because unemployment's not a legal issue to pay child support, so we're gonna have to figure this out.
Around November.
Okay, and so I hear I hear a child in the background. You have other children?
Yes, 2.
Okay, you have 2 other children. So how are you financially supporting the 2 other children?
Family.
Okay, so are you living with family as well?
No.
So you have your own place and you're supporting your family, supporting you and your children, and you don't have any income?
No.
Okay, I mean, this is a criminal hearing for me to issue a warrant, so I need you to share with me what's going on in your life, why you're not working, why you're not supporting your son that you have with Mr. Huffman. And
Well, I was doing travel work, and then since I moved here to be closer to our son, then it's been hard for me to find a place to work. The kids are with me. One is in school. The last hearing that I had, I didn't get that job because I was actually on a hearing for here, and I guess they just didn't see that as, I don't know, but that's the reason why that I didn't get that last job. I had an interview that day, and I spent most of my time on the phone for here.
well, you should have told the judge we would have not interfered with your ability to get a job for a hearing.
Well, I told him I was on an interview.
Okay, well, not sure what happened there. All right, well, I mean, I have to treat you like anybody else. Are the other 2 children with Mr. Johnson or someone different?
2 other people.
2 other fathers?
Yes.
All right. Well, I always share with the dads when they're in court, if they have a child support order for another child and they choose to go have 2 additional children when they're not even supporting the first, you fall into the same category. If you have 1 child that you support the LeBron Jr. and then now you have 2 additional children, you're not employed, and I have to offer you the same program, I guess, that we would offer dads in this situation, but you have to become employed and start paying child support, or I have to, treat you as I treat my dads that come before me, because you can't just not pay child support.
And I know a lot of that payments were taken out. I had this issue I was in bankruptcy at one point as well. I'm still in a bankruptcy. And I told them at one point that the court order was still in Alabama. We have a court order through Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
And when I called to speak to them, they told me that they can't talk to me in Georgia and Alabama, since I said I'm currently, for right now, at the moment, until I move back to Alabama, here. And so they couldn't give me any information here. And I sent some lady the court order that we have.
I have it.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't matter if you live in DeKalb County now. I
don't stay in DeKalb County.
Okay, hold on. You live in Gwinnett is what I meant to say. If you live in the state of Georgia now, then we can handle this case. The issue is we need to get you employed so you can start making payments.
And if I don't become employed, then I'm moving back to Alabama. Because I'm only temporary here. My permanent address still is in Alabama. I just came here to try to be closer to our son. But it's been
Okay.
but yeah, my permanent address is in Alabama.
Okay. So when you were in Alabama, were you able to remain employed and keep employment? Because
Yeah.
it looks like you weren't really paying then either.
I know it came out. Well, I was out of work when I had my other daughter because they didn't want her to go to daycare, so I stayed at home. Um, yeah, but I was employed for. I did travel work, so it's on and off, on and off. And so I
Well,
had also I did work there as well too. It was more better than here. But the thing is, I was trying to be closer to our son. So
okay. Well, hold on a second. I'm going to mute you for a moment. I guess the fatherhood doesn't apply to moms, huh, Miss Carson?
It does. Moms can go
Oh,
too.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we have a program, Mr. Johnson. I think this is the first time. There's a program called it's called the Fatherhood Program, but I didn't know moms could go to. We'll send her to the order. I'll order her to go to the Fatherhood Program, and then they'll look at the situation. They're really good on trying to make any parent a better parent, which includes finding employment, which includes, being able to be the best parent they can be. So since this is the first time, I believe, I don't know that you filed before. The only thing, I mean, I can't, it's not going to be move anybody for me to issue a warrant when she has two minor children at home as well. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. It's not even my case. It's Judge Scott's case, but I'm going to put notes that I'm going to order her to the fatherhood program. The program, ma'am, you're going to have to comply with that program. We're going to try to see what type of employment we can get you, if any. If you return to Alabama, you just need to let our court know so that we can get the proper address to keep you notified of any future court dates. So right now, what I'm going to do is go ahead and order you to attend the fatherhood program. Attorney Carson is going to give you guidance on how to enroll in that program. And they're going to require you to make monthly payments. So you have to get something. I'm sure, being a mother with two kids and not being able to find employment, I'm not, excusing or neglecting, but just like I work with my dads, Mr. Johnson, I give them the opportunity and the time to be able to try to get employment. I don't just issue warrants right away, and I'm not going to do that in this case either. So we're going to forward your address. If you could give us your local address Dad gave us the local address. Do you live in, is that your address? You can unmute for me, please. And you can just back up a little bit from the camera because we're just seeing your eyes and your nose. If you can unmute, Miss Huffman, we just need to know do you live off? Yes. Okay. So we have the correct address. We'll send you that information, Miss Carson, and its application. And we're going to send the information, Dad. I'm going to reset the case on, give her some time to go and determine if she's moving back to Alabama. So you have to go through a whole interstate process instead of this process. But let's try that fatherhood program, see what they could do to get her on track.
right.
All right. So we're going to need your address. I'm going to put you in. I don't want you. So if you could put your address and put it directly to Miss Carson. Do you know how to do a chat? Because Dad's given us a different address from you from what we have on file. So I need your mailing address so we could send you notice of the file of the court dates as well as the participation in the I'm going to say the parenthood program. How about that?
I also have a question. So if I become an employee, then how does the program work?
What program?
The program that you're trying to send me to.
Well, I mean, if you get a job, you can just withdraw from the program, but because you're not employed, you just have to go to it to avoid me issuing a warrant for your arrest. Because we have an agreement. Well, not we. There's an agreement with DCSS that as long as you're paying child support, if you're not paying child support, I agree not to issue a warrant as long as you go through their program. So your support's supposed to be $73 a week. And so you have to pay that $73 a week, but we'll accept partial or less payments once you get some employment. You have to pay it directly until it comes out of your paycheck. And then once it comes out of your paycheck, because technically I do have a legal basis for issuing a warrant because you really haven't paid any significant support over the past year, last year. So so what we're going to do is go ahead and send that information. You'll receive it by email. Make sure you check your spam as well. We'll reset this case on Judge. Let me look at the calendar to see. It's going to take some time, Mr. Johnson, to get this information to her and to get her started, but I'm going to mute Mom for a minute. Ms. Huffman, go ahead and mute yourself. Mr. Johnson, you can unmute, please. Okay, Mr. Johnson, is there anything that you would like to comment or add? Oops, I'm sorry, my camera's gone fuzzy here. Hold on.
This is the fourth. This will be the fourth reset without any payments. And you can see there was only 4 payments or 5 payments in the history of this. So
Let's see.
my question is, when are we coming to an end to move forward with this?
Yeah, well, unemployment is not a legal basis for issuing a criminal warrant. I have to find that she has the ability to pay and she's refusing to. So after if she fails to participate, I don't know, Judge Scott didn't put her in the program. So let's give it
She
this
didn't show up for the last case. That's why we have a reset now.
Okay, it's been reset, but I don't know that there's ever been a hearing.
Okay, understood.
So we have to go through the process. You just got to be patient with it. So it looks like you're employed and you're able to provide to the best of your ability, which is awesome. So just bear with us. I'm going to put here, mother, hold on one second. Mother has, and what are the ages of your, hold on one second. What are the ages of your 2 children, Ms. Huffman, that you have at home? You can unmute, please. I'm making notes. I need for Judge Scott.
9 months and 5.
5 years old?
And 9 months.
Okay. I mean, I have to say, Ms. Huffman, you have a 5-year-old, a 13-year-old. Now 14. You have a 9-month-old, and you're not supporting yourself. Okay. I have to say as a judge, I'm a little bit perplexed about that. You're not able to support the children you have, and then now you have a newborn baby as well. Okay, let me put a mute. Hold on one second. Can we get her address?
I'm confused because the clerk provided me with an address that was on the application, and Mr. Johnson just messaged with another address that's different from.
Yeah, that's why I said she needs to send us her address. Ms. Huffman, I need you to send your address to Ms. Ford, only Magistrate Court B. I need you to put your address in there, and then we'll forward it to Ms. Carson as well. Mr. Johnson, to be quite honest with you, as I just said in the last case, a single parent with 2 little kids, I'm not sure it's a crime. I think we're going to end up, I'm going to see if we could get some employment to get your child support, but you may have to file a contempt against her while she's in this state and let a judge decide whether or not she's in contempt, because, I have to show that she's committing a crime, meaning she has the ability to pay and she's refusing. So it's not just the inability to pay or being unemployed, but I'm going to try to step it up. But I'm just going to be honest. I don't know that we could find that she is just refusing to work with 2 little kids. And I don't know how her family's deciding to support her, or it's been like this for over a year, so we can't fix it right away. But, I'm just being very transparent with you. This one's going to be kind of a tough situation. I don't know if state court's going to pick it up, but we'll do what we can to get things started quickly.
She has been working. She has just become unemployed. She, in fact, lived in Pennsylvania for years and worked a high-paying job and still did not pay.
Oh, really?
Those kids are, like she said, 5 and 9 months. LaRon is 14. Those was a choice to make, to have those kids. She's making a choice to not pay.
Right. Okay.
It's going to be continuously get contract jobs. I'm unemployed now, so I'm not going to pay. It's been a cycle.
Okay. All right. So what we'll do is we'll get did you receive the address yet, Ms. Ford?
This is a new address.
Yes, I just received it.
From Ms. Huffman?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is that the same one the dad just gave us as an updated address?
He didn't send me the updated address, so I don't see what he sent, but I see what she sent.
Okay. All right. So, ma'am, if you're able to get, part-time contracts, you need to get in, you need to start paying child support.
I just became on mute. No, I wasn't in Pennsylvania doing a whole bunch of contract work. I was again on and off. I had maybe 1 or 2 contracts. They weren't high paying as he was stating they're high paying.
Okay, well, what we need to do is get you some employment and you start at least trying to pay something. I cannot reduce your order, but there needs to be 50 a week. And if you go back and forth and live off credit cards or know someone that can help you to avoid your license being suspended and to avoid this matter, you might want to see if a family member will help you to at least pay $50. I'm not reducing her child support, Mr. Johnson. I'm just trying to get something flowing. So let's try the fatherhood program. Let's see if that can get her some employment, since she does have some work history, and then we'll reset the case to see what's going on. If she's able to get employment, as soon as you get some type of employment, Ms. Huffman, you need to start making weekly payments is my recommendation. So you don't have to have either a warrant or lose your driver's license, because you're probably in the window of your license being suspended as well. So you have to contact, do we have any information on her license?
None.
Okay.
Now, is that the licensing? Because I don't have a Georgia license.
Well, Alabama license, I don't know that we can do anything about that, but we certainly, it could happen. So is the 19th judge, let's see, first and third, I'm second and fourth. Let's reset this case to April 19th, and you can put that in the docket notes, please. And I made notes of what we're trying to do. The goal is to start trying to pay. Let me just put that note in here.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Can I pay what I can? I know you said 15, but am I able to just pay what I can or make attempts to pay something?
Well, I'm telling you, in my opinion, it's starting to get mom to pay $50 per week to try to pay some type of money. So I can't, I'm not ordering you. I'm kind of ordering you. I'm encouraging you to try to pay $50 a week, $200 a month, something. And if you break it down, sometimes it helps. So you can start having consistent child support, or your license is going to be suspended, as well as a warrant could eventually be issued for your list. Okay.
Judge, she has provided the Alabama address, which is no good to us.
Okay. Ms. Huffman, we need your address here in Georgia. Not sure why you're giving us the Alabama address.
That's my mailing. That's where everything goes.
Yeah, we don't need a mailing address. I need your address of where you live in the state of Georgia.
Okay.
Okay.
And also, last time we were here, last time I couldn't come to court, he mentioned something about that. I couldn't get onto the Zoom call. That's why I didn't show up, but I was able to come. That's why they reset it. But for the time before that, they said something about a warrant already being issued.
Let's see. Let me see. Not that this is the first time it's on the calendar, but it looks like Dad's been trying to get this case on since September. Let's see. Both parties were present. Wants to see payments for November, December. Well, I'm putting it back on Judge Scott's calendar. If she said that she's going to issue a warrant, she may issue a warrant. So it's up to you. I mean, there's been no payments at all since November. So I don't know if you have family members. Like I said, you could pay the payments on the card. I don't know if you're getting support from the state. Again, I'm perplexed of how you can have 2 kids and not work and provide and not live with your family and provide for yourself. So something's concerning to me here. It sounds like you do have some income in some form or fashion, but we're not able to trace it to get it out of your paycheck. So either Judge, she did make notes of warrant may issue. This has been going on since September. So I'm putting notes. Mother has 2 additional children, and claims she's not employed. 5-year-old, 9-month-old, sent to the fatherhood program. Encourage mom to pay $50 per week. So we'll see how that works out, and we'll see you guys reset the case to April 19th for Judge Scott to decide what she's going to do at that point. I really encourage you to try to get some payments in, $50 a week, $200. I'm not reducing your order once again, but encouraging some type of payment to be made so a warrant does not have to be issued and your license will not be suspended. All right, let's make sure we have the correct address on everybody. Ms. Huffman, did we receive your correct Georgia address yet?
Yes.
Okay. And you sent it to Magistrate Court B?
Yes.
All right.
No, I don't have a Georgia address, what she sent me.
All right, let's put Ms. Carson and Ms. Huffman in a breakout room. Mr. Johnson, you know you may have it. I can't give her address to you. It's just part of the process. This is a criminal hearing. I know you're saying you have it. Okay, go ahead and put them in a breakout room real quick, Ms. Ford. Exchange addresses. And Mr. Johnson, we'll see you on the 19th. You're excused from court. We're going to excuse her as soon as we finish, okay?
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, so all right, take care. Bye-bye. Have a application. You have an 11-year-old and an 8-year-old that live with you in DeKalb County. Can you unmute so that I can swear you in, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you have a child support of $802 for both of your children. Let me get to my docket notes here to see. All right, so this is your first time appearing before the court. I don't see any docket notes on this case. So you have an order to pay $802. The address that you gave us for Dad is, our clerks tried to call. How do you know that that's his address and the telephone number? When is the last time you've had any contact with him?
September 20th, I believe, of last year.
Okay, and do you all text about the kids?
No, I have messages where my daughter has tried reaching out and he just doesn't reply.
So the address that you gave us, because one of the problems with the criminal warrant is we have to have proof that he was served notice of the hearing. How do you know that's the address where he lives in Powder Springs?
Well, I'm not 100% sure if he resides at that address, but I know his mother does. And last thing I knew is that he was living with his mother, and he would work out of state, but he'd come back and he'd be there. But this was last year that I knew about this.
Okay. And so like you don't have a relationship with his mom either to know if she gave notice?
No, I try not to reach out because it just creates problems with my daughters because they think, oh, my grandmother, and I want to call him, and then they call and he doesn't answer. So I don't want to do that trauma to them anymore.
Okay, I understand. So it looks like let's look at his payment. So he's supposed to be paying 802. Looks like there was an income deduction order December 28th, another one on January 23rd, but that was back in 2023, all these payments. So you have not received any payments in the past year?
I don't remember. Yeah,
since November of last year.
correct.
All right. So he was working at some point, I guess, in 2022, 23, but nothing since then. His driver's license has been suspended. I think the notes here state that you were referred to file a contempt against him. And my clerk, I believe, Ms. Ford, for the record, you stated that. So tell me what happened when you called that number that we have on him.
When I called on the 14th and I called on the 15th, and his voicemail is not set up, so I couldn't leave a message.
And so, Ms. Carson, we're showing no payments
Nothing.
since November of last year.
Correct. And there was a note in there that there was a job that was found, but they were unable to confirm it at all. And this was on January 12th, they sent this.
Okay. So help me understand the payments. Is it November 2022? There's an income deduction order 223. Then January 2023, there was an income deduction of 443, and then no payments in February, March, April, May, June, July. You had a pretty good child support order, Ms. Borkov. What is his employment?
I'm not sure, Your Honor. I haven't been in contact with him for a while.
But when you were with him, what career field was he in? I mean, because that's a child support order, so he must have been making some pretty good money.
Yeah. He was, I'm not sure what the job title was, but he was traveling for his job and he was fixing conveyor belts in warehouses.
Mm-hmm.
But this was over a decade ago.
Mm-hmm.
But Your Honor, if I may say, I don't know what to do at this point. I don't want the money. I just want his legal rights taken at this point because I haven't been in contact with him. My daughters haven't been in contact with him. And at this point, I'm seeking therapy for them because this is not okay. I really honestly don't care about money. I don't. This is not what it's about. I've done civil cases in the past towards him with my attorney. My attorney has now given up on me because he's saying I'm spending too much money on his fees and I'm not getting anything back. So I want the best for my kids, and that's what all I'm trying to do.
Well, okay. So I'm sorry about what you're going through, but this seems to be one of the cases where you're just going to have to support your children to the best of your ability, and just understand that you're a mom that has to continue to provide the support for your child. It says you're not employed, so how do you support yourself?
I'm now remarried and my husband supports me. I'm actually going to start going back to school. My son's going back to daycare, so.
Okay, so one of the things I usually don't get into this, this is not a family law hearing, but the court's not just going to terminate his rights. There has to be a person that's willing to step in, and so you have to go through all that. But just to encourage you, I would just say move on. I'm going to issue the warrant in this case. There's been no support in the past year. There's really a little of nothing. It's just going to be out there. One day he'll get arrested. He'll be on probation until your youngest child is 18, and put your energy into being the best mom that you can be. That's what I would encourage you to do. It's just a painful situation. There's nobody can make a dad be a dad. There's nothing we can do to say, oh, your daughters love you and want you. There's not. So there's nothing you can do. There's nothing the court can do. And I hope somebody has told you that. Even terminating his rights is not going to necessarily make anything better for you or your children. I'm just being honest. I was a domestic lawyer for many years before I became a judge. And it's just one of those things where you have to sit down and say, you know what? my kids are going to be okay. And I'm going to do, the best that I could do. The warrant's already been signed. I'll go ahead and make sure make a note the judge signs the warrant. Looks like you've already signed it. And I'm not sure why you're back on the calendar today if you've already signed the warrant, but we'll sign the warrant. And what's going to happen is one day, sometime in the future, he's finally going to get arrested. And then when he's arrested, then they'll send him to child support put him on probation. And then he'll have to pay the child support through probation. So, that's pretty much it. You know, again, I'm sorry for what you guys are going through, but part of you just has to accept that this is a done deal and that he's not going to be a father and he's not going to step up, and you just raise your daughters to be the beautiful daughters that they're probably going to be, even though, you know, this is tough. I guess you guys lived together for a while or something when you had the daughters, so they know him.
They do. I left when I was pregnant with my second baby, so she really never knew what it was to live with him. He was in and out when she was a toddler, but that's about it. But the issues that I'm running into now is, for example, my oldest is having her bat mitzvah this year, and since he still legally has rights to her, the rabbi is asking for actual court documents stating that he's not in their life, because if I give him our divorce, then it says that he has, you know, also guardianship towards them. And that's where I'm running into an issue. If I want to get a passport for them to travel, I can't do that because he has to sign. And how is he going to sign if I can't get a hold of him?
So I don't know the new laws on the termination of parental rights, but I believe no support for a certain amount of time. It used to be 2 years. I don't know what it is anymore. When there's no support for 2 years, then I think you could petition for a termination of rights. But, you know, that's something that you have to look into as a judge. I can't navigate that, but we're going to go ahead and sign the warrant. You've already signed it. It's already in. Let me see if I could just sign the warrant. Let's see. Hold on one second. And I'm not giving him a signature bond. This is one case where I won't. Let's see. And let me issue the warrant. All right. Not that this is going to help, but maybe you could show them that a warrant has been issued for non-support. So a warrant's been issued. So you just have to, hopefully they'll, DeKalb County will notify you when he's been taken into custody, and you just decide then how you want to proceed with your case. And if there's a consent legal way to terminate his parental rights, that's probably the time to do it. So at least if he gets arrested for this case, then you'll know where he is. And I put a bond in there. I usually give a signature bond, but I'm not giving him a signature bond. So the warrant's been signed. And for our purposes, that closes our case. It goes to state court. And you guys just do the best you can under the circumstances. Okay, so the warrant's been issued. And you just have to kind of, I don't know how state court, they may notify you that you have a hearing. Just make sure that you keep checking your emails and check the status, because if it goes to court, then Odyssey is our court system in DeKalb County. So you can keep checking Odyssey maybe every month to see if he's been arrested yet, or if there's an open case. And then at that point, but as far as you know, he's still alive, right?
I think so.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, okay. Well, that being said, we'll go ahead. It looks like there was an involuntary payment. If he files taxes, then you'll get a tax intercept, but that's pretty much it on this case. So the warrant's been issued. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. And we can't give you a copy of that warrant, unfortunately, until it's been served. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ladies.
When they come and get their actual court hearing date, they sign for the application and the warrant right there. So that way, in case you or Judge Scott decide to issue a warrant, the signature is already in place.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you for letting me know that. So let's see, you this is your first time appearing. You have an order of $217 per month. We have not been able, one of the issues is I have to be able to try to give the non-custodial parent notice. It looks like in this case, you have a child support order for $217 at $10,000 arrearage. You gave us an address in DeKalb County with a phone number. I think my clerk has tried to reach him to no avail. So when is the last time that you've had any contact whatsoever with Mr. Stinson?
Last week, when I dropped the girls off at his dad house.
Okay, the address you gave us, is that his father's home?
No, that's his address.
Oh, that's his address?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
and the phone number that you gave us, is that the phone number where you usually reach out to him?
Yes, the 404.
Yes, but
Yes, ma'am. That's it. Yes, ma'am.
is that a cell phone number?
Yes, cell phone.
I didn't think 404s were cell phone numbers, even though we've all been here a long time. So what was your conference? Because it looks like he made some payments September, October, November of last year. I really need him to come to court. And can you share with me what happened when you called him, please, Ms. Ford?
So I think I missed the last court date in December because my daughter had a seizure that morning. So but I know the last time we went to court, he was told that he got to make payments. And usually just like he'll make a small payment before we go to court. But when I speak to him, I told him that we got court soon. He should be making his payments, and he just
Okay,
said like we looking for the
okay.
drugs.
Since you have contact with him, do me a favor and text him and say the judge said that you need to come into court or she's going to issue a warrant.
Judge, to answer your question towards me,
Yes.
he has received the mailing. He has received the email from me about the hearing today, and he also received 2 phone calls, which was on the 14th and the 15th, in
Okay.
terms of voicemail.
All right. Well, before I issue a warrant, let's let mom reach out to him and say the judge is waiting for you to come to court or she's going to issue a warrant. Check his
Okay.
email. Check
I
his
listened.
email. Send him the court information via email. We're going to put you back in the waiting room just for a moment. I know you took a break from your job, but we're going to put you in the waiting room to see if he responds. Let me give him a chance. I'd rather get him in court, figure out what's going on, so we can get you consistent. Okay, so let's go ahead and put Ms. Harris back in the waiting room. So all these cases, it seems they've been in court before, but I don't see any docket notes. I don't know. They're all saying that they've been in court, but I'll have to ask Judge Scott how she handles her docket notes because I don't see that anybody.
I may have some if you want me to look. I think I saw something on that one we just did that neither person showed up and the judge dismissed it.
Oh, okay, that's why. Okay.
On Harris, yeah.
Yeah, this one we're not going to be able to. The child's 18. We're not going to be able to issue a criminal warrant.
This one, looking at number 7.
On Wright, yeah, and I think I've told her that before. She's appeared before me. I mean, there should already be a warrant issued because he hasn't paid support. Is there any notes of a warrant being issued, or is this the first time? I mean, we can't issue a warrant for a 17-year-old. Unfortunately, they don't prosecute it, so it's going to have to be a contempt. You could bring Miss Wright in, please. All right. Well, I've seen the both of you before. I'm not sure why you guys are on Judge Scott's camera. You should actually be on my calendar because I've seen you both. I thought that I'd already issued a warrant a while back on this case. Ms. Wright, I'm going to ask you to unmute. So in this case, mom has an order for her 17-year-old, which kind of presents a complication of $518 per month in child support. The child is 17 now. Dad has not made any payments since 2021 is what we're showing. And is that right? Is that correct, Ms. Wright?
He was skipping years, and the last year that I did receive anything, that was in 2020, in the beginning of 2021, and that was it.
But you filed before because I recognize both of your
Yes.
faces. All right. Did I never issue a warrant?
You gave him chances to bring in money, and he didn't do it.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't. Let me just double check. Is this your first time appearing again?
Yeah, in a long time because I couldn't find his address. Tried to call him several times to talk to him about it, and he refused to discuss anything with me.
All right. Okay. I'm going to have you mute yourself. All right, Mr. Wright, you have not made any payments since 2021 is what we're showing. You can unmute. You're going to have to explain to me why I shouldn't issue a warrant today because this makes no sense. I've dealt with you before, probably gave you opportunities, but I don't recall. So I'll give you the opportunity to be heard. You can unmute. What's going on, Mr. Wright?
I had some complications with my health. I had surgery on both of my knees and my left arm. So I've been out of work since 21.
Okay, so hold on one second. I'm gonna see. Okay, so Miss Ford, sorry about my camera. Miss Ford, if you could do me a favor, can you look up the last case I have put in his name and look at the previous PP cases and give me that information, please? So I think I think, Ms. Wright, we encourage you to file a contempt against them for a judge to decide. Are you receiving any disability or anything, Mr. Wright? How are you supporting yourself?
Well, right now I applied for my disability already, but I'm just waiting on the statute to reveal itself.
Okay.
Right now I'm just my kids actually helping me right now.
Your kids are helping you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you living with your children?
No, I got a room, I rent a room out.
In a rooming house. Okay. All right.
Yes,
Let me
ma'am.
just see what's going on. So I have here that you were advised, Miss Wright, to file a contempt action. Have you filed a contempt through child support? Anybody can give me
I
an update?
I did. I went inside the office several times, and the only thing I kept getting was they waiting on Mr. Wright to respond, and they said that they contacted him several times to come in to make a payment. And he never showed.
Well, I'm sure his license is already suspended, which it is since 2021. Unfortunately, the issue is because your son is 17, they can't prosecute him through
My
an abandonment.
daughter.
Your daughter, okay, they can't prosecute because she's considered adult in the eyes of the law. So you still have to do the civil contempt, which means, Ms. Carson, can you give us any update? Is there anything, because the judge can, if the judge finds that he does have the ability to work on the civil contempt, then that means they can order him to pay a certain amount in order to not be taken into custody. And if he doesn't pay that amount as per the judge's order, I mean, in other words, the burden of proof is on him that he has the ability to earn some income. Let's see. So I already issued a warrant back in 2015. And what happened on that? Mr. Wright, hold on. Were you, mute yourself, Miss Wright. Were you arrested on that charge and on probation?
No, I turned myself into it, and I paid the bond.
Okay. But that was back in, that's why I really remember 2015. That's when I issued the warrant, because generally once a warrant is issued, you're on probation until the child turns 18. Okay, so we're going to have to look. Brief recess. Miss Ford, I'm going to give you a call. I'll be right with you guys. So is your daughter going to be 18? Miss Wright?
My daughter will not turn 18 till December the 17th,
Mm-hmm.
and then she goes to college.
Okay. Well, congratulations on that one.
Thank
Gosh, this one, they're not going to prosecute it because she's 17. And so your best bet is it looks like, Miss Carson, if you want to share the review for the contempt, Mr. Wright, you're going to be paying child support the rest of your life. And if Miss Wright, he gets disability, then your daughter should hopefully qualify to receive some stipends as well from disability. But because she's 17, she's considered, I know not to you, but she's considered an adult for the purpose of prosecution. So I was advised years ago that they don't proceed on 17-year-olds for prosecution for child support abandonment. So, Ms. Carson, are we going to be able to look into helping mom just to file a contempt against him?
Yeah, well, as I wrote you on our, as soon as I saw this, I reviewed and I asked the agency, why has a contempt not been filed? Because they were looking at it back in July of 2022, but looks like nothing happened. So I've sent an email to the supervisor.
Okay, sounds good. So, Mom, I'm so sorry, Ms. Wright. In this case, I did issue the warrant back in 2015, so he was on probation for a while. It looks like he cured that somehow, and then he had another case that you filed, but because she's 17 now, you'll have to go through the civil process of having a civil judge determine if he has the ability to pay. I mean, if he is out of commission and he is disabled, that judge has to make that decision. If they find that he can do something, then they can hold him in contempt and order him to pay the child support. Order him to pay the child support, or a warrant will be issued for his arrest. Okay.
I just want to understand how to get this far without the child support name before she was 17, and I constantly went down to the child support agency asking them.
Oh, they're two different issues. This is a criminal matter. That's a civil issue. So they're not like watching. They're not looking at the abandonment criminal aspect. Their responsibility is to look at the civil aspect. So that's what it is. Unfortunately, yeah. It's just, even if they take him into custody, the case it's going to take such a long time that they'll end up dismissing it. I don't want to put you through all that. It looks like he was already arrested in 2015, 2018. So I wonder who. Hold on one second. We're going to be on a brief recess on this case. We're going to put you guys back in the waiting room. I'm going to try to reach the probation department so I can find out from Ms. Taylor what happened in this case. Let's see. So we're going to put you guys back in the waiting room just for a moment, and then I'll confirm whether or not. I just need to find out what happened because we've issued the warrants twice. Let's see. Can you have her?
Okay, Judge, what I'm showing is the one that was in 15, that was dismissed.
Okay.
I'm trying to find the one for 18 to see what happened, if it was bound over to state court.
Okay, sounds good. I'm going to be looking at the other case. Let me see.
Okay. I'm sorry, Judge. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm just looking at the
Okay, so in 2020, Judge Hydrick dismissed this case.
Hmm.
I'm trying to pull up why she dismissed it.
Okay.
It said dismiss and then it says without, so I'm trying to figure out what is without.
Okay.
Ex parte protective order?
Oh, that's protective order. Yeah, that's different.
Okay.
All right, let's go ahead. I'm going to wait to hear from probation department. Let's go ahead and go to the next case.
I do.
Okay. All right, if you could both mute yourselves, please. So we're here because Miss Mahary lives in DeKalb County with the 9-year-old minor child. Dad also lives in DeKalb County. There's currently a child support order of $261 a month plus a $52 toward the repay of the past due amount of $4,839. Looking at the payment histories, there were some involuntary payments. In April of 2023, there was a $1,243 payment. October of 23, there's $12. That doesn't count for anything. Again, in October, there was a $246 involuntary payment of last year. But other than those two payments last year, mom pretty much received no direct support. And then February 2nd, I guess once mom filed this case, there was some type of payment of $301.50, but it looks like it was, I'm not sure, that looks like dad voluntarily made the payment. So of course we're here. Your driver's license is suspended, just so you know. When you fail to pay child support within 30 days, there's an automatic suspension of your driver's license. So you are suspended right now for a driver's license. I'm going to start with you, Mr. Yadego. Are you employed? If so, where are you employed? Well, you don't have to give me the name. Currently employed?
No, I'm not employed right now.
Okay. You know, when people come on and tell me they're not employed, where have you been? When is the last time you were employed?
It was last year. Since last year, I've been not working for the past since last July.
Okay. You said you have not been working since July?
No, ma'am. I've been in a school.
You're in school?
Yes.
Okay. And so how do you support yourself as a student financially?
Financial aid provided me.
Your financial aid?
Yes, ma'am.
It's paying enough to pay for your living expenses?
No, I'm doing a part-time job.
Okay. Well, even with a part-time job, you know, you have the obligation to provide support for your child. I mean, you know, a lot of people have side hustles. They're able to make money and do things. So everybody, the reason I always ask, well, how are you supporting yourself? Is because you are supporting yourself, but the law requires that you continue to provide support for your child. So if you choose to go to school, that's awesome. Kudos to you. You'll get more income in the future, but you still have to have that part-time job to support your child.
Yes, I was gonna be done by school, and that's when I'm trying to get more income so I can stand for more income to get. That's why I went back to school.
Well, again, kudos to that, but you haven't made any voluntary payments in child support except recently. So you have to get on track to start paying your child support. If you can't pay it on a monthly basis, you can split it into two and pay $150 every 2 weeks or $75 a week. But because of your payment history, I have to issue a warrant for your arrest if you don't get on track. So whatever you're doing, you made a payment. That was a voluntary payment on February 2nd, Ms. Carson?
Yes, it was, Your Honor.
Okay, hold on one second. I'm going to hear from mom. Okay, so I don't want to get into any, you know, bad nature or anything like that, but he's saying he's a student. You made kind of a facial expression and that he works part-time. So do you have any information that he is actually working and has income?
Yes, Judge. I know that he worked at the gas station under the table. That's how he get paid for the past so many years. Actually, 6 years ago, we tried. I mean, I took him to the court, and he promised that he has a job already lining up, and he promised the judge that he's gonna start paying and provide his job information. After the judge dismissed his case, he hasn't provide anything, and he stopped paying. So this is my second time trying. I've been trying raising her by myself, but he doesn't want to pay. That's the reason. The reason why he started working under the table, because he doesn't want to pay child support. So now, can you ask him to provide this?
Hold on, Ms. Hart, hold on one second.
Okay. Okay.
For me. All right, so I understand. So give me a moment, please. All right, so Mr. Yadego, you know, I always say this, I've been doing this for 19, 20 years, and I do understand that people do work under the table so that their income can't be taken, but you did make a payment for February. So that counts for the month of February. So in order to, well, one, you got to reinstate your license. It's suspended. And the only way to reinstate your license is there one of two ways. You pay a percentage of the past due amount to get your license reinstated. And the second way to do that would be that you can get a job where you actually have an income deduction order and the money comes out of your paycheck. So right now you're suspended license. I hope you're not driving, because then you're going to get arrested for driving on a suspended license, and they impound your vehicle if you have one. So all we need to do is get on track. I mean, all these years, you know, you have a child support order. School is not an excuse. You still have to work part-time to get those things done. So I just need to get you back on track. And so far for this month, you paid the $301.50. So I'm going to review the case and keep, well, it's Judge, it's not my calendar, it's Judge Scott's calendar. I'm filling in for her. But you were able to make the payment. And so you have to continue to make the payments to avoid a warrant being issued. Did you know your license is suspended?
Yes, I do.
Oh, and you don't care? You don't drive?
No, I mean, I don't have no vehicle.
Okay. Well, all right. So you are working part-time and you did make a payment this month. So you're saved with, because I would have issued a warrant today. So I'm not going to issue the warrant, ma'am, because you did make a payment within the past 30 days. I know it's only because you filed, but we're going to keep the case open for 6 months and see what's going on. And make sure those payments are consistent before, if the payments are not consistent, sir, so you have to pay every month. So right now you made the February payment, you have to make a full payment in March and April and May, and then continuously make those payments. So we're going to have to keep coming back to court for a review until however Judge Scott wants to keep however long she wants to keep the case open. But if at one point you're not paying for 30 days, then she's just going to issue a warrant for your arrest. Any questions, Mr. Udeko? But we're going to reset the case to make sure you're complying with making your payments in March and April. And if you're in compliance, then she's going to reset the case again for another 2 months to make sure that you're getting into the habit of paying your child support consistently. Have any questions for me?
No, I don't.
Okay. Ms. Mahary, I'll ask you to unmute. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, Judge. He even texted me after he got the judge order. He told me that if he go to the jail, I'm gonna go to the hell. So he is threatening me also to not pursue with this judge order.
Okay.
So
well,
it's taken under your consideration.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
I have a proof. He texts me. He said, if he go to the jail, I'm going to the hell.
Okay. Well, people get mad. I mean, I can't do anything about that. I mean, if he's you can block him. You can block him. Just block him so he doesn't.
I block him, but he keep using another websites. And for the past almost 8 years, he never provide his job information. Even he said he has a part-time job. Now he doesn't provide any information for you. And he said he's in school. He doesn't provide anything for you. So
okay. Well, in this case, all we could do is issue a warrant for his arrest if he doesn't pay. And so, you know what, we're going to put this on my calendar so I can keep on top of this one. Let's go ahead and put this on my next calendar. I'll track it myself, but let me put notes in here. Hold on 1 second. And where are you in school, Mr. Udeko? You can unmute, please.
Piedmont, Georgia, Piedmont.
Piedmont, okay. All right, so I'm looking for monthly payments, Mr. Udeko. If you need to break them into two, you can divide in 150 each, but I think you can afford the monthly payment. So what I'm going to do is put here, I'm resetting the case to my calendar since it's the first time and I need to track this case. I don't know if we have the same procedures. So
also, Judge, how can I able to get in touch with my daughter? How can I get to see her for the visitation?
You have to file a petition to legitimate your daughter in court. There is no cost to do that. Generally, what happens in these cases is once you guys get over being upset at each other and just grow up as parents and stop being mad at each other. It's both people. It goes both ways. You're not paying, mom's not letting you see your daughter, but it's up to the two of you to put your differences aside and make it better for your daughter. Children want both parents in their, no, I don't want to hear it. Children want both of their parents in their lives. This is common. you know, dads step out of the pictures because they don't want to speak to the mother. The poor child is the one that's in the middle that loves their mommy and loves their daddy. And it's up to you two as adults to decide that she's more important than anything and to put her first. I'm not going to get into that because that's not my responsibility. But if you want visitation, you could just go to DeKalb County, go to the Family Law Information Center, fill out the paperwork. All you have to do is pay the court filing fees and the judge will give you visitation. But I always tell dads, don't go do that unless you're actually going to exercise the visitation and have her in your life. So the case is going to be reset. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think I will have a calendar on the 26th, on April 26th for review. I'll be looking to make sure you made the payments for March and April. And then I'm going to make a note here to keep the case open for 12 months for review. All right. So I'm going to keep checking the case. If there aren't any payments, then I'll have a decision whether or not I'm going to issue a warrant. I'm not saying I'm issuing a warrant, but it's something that I will consider. All right. So Dad, just make your payments. Mom will see you guys on April 26th for an updated review. And if there's nothing further from each of you, that concludes our hearing. And we'll see you guys on April 26th, same time, same place. Okay.
All right. And I still can able to do the visitation anytime, right?
You have to go to the court and file the petition to legitimate, and then that'll get started where the judge will give you visitation.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
But I hope you guys work that out on your own, but it looks like there's still a lot of frustration between you and Mom. So it's up to you guys to decide to make peace and let your child see both parents, but that's not up to me today. So I don't know what you guys have been through. So I'm not going to deal with that. That's a family law issue. Miss Mahary, you guys can work that out on your own. I'm not getting into that, but Mr. Udego, please be cautious of making any kind of threats in a phone, or your life is going to be hell, or both of you should avoid that because it could end up in a different court, which is way more serious, which is a criminal court. All right, you guys are excused from court. You can go ahead and leave at this time. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so let's put that on my calendar. All right, this Judge Dason, could you come back in the video, please? And I cannot see you, and it looks like I don't know if you're in bed, but could you please get up? We're having court this morning.
I'm clearly sitting up. I'm not in bed.
You are in bed. Is that a couch?
Yes, ma'am. It's not a bed.
Oh, okay. All right. Now, if you could just get some light on, because I can't see you. We're in court, and this is court, and we're streaming live on YouTube. So I'm just sharing that information to you that you're
My phone's dead, Your Honor. That's all. I'm somebody charging my phone.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, charge it for us. All right. So in this case, Miss Harris filed a child support abandonment application. Not sure if this is the first time. You guys have an 8-year-old, I guess, daughter. Her name is Angel. You both live in DeKalb County. You're under an order to pay $217 per month in child support. You have a $10,000 past due. The law states that if you don't provide support within 30 days, I can issue a warrant for your arrest. You're lucky right now. Your driver's license is still in place. It has not been suspended.
I've been waiting. I've been wanting the fatherhood program. That's how I was able to get it back. I did my orientation. Well, I signed up for the orientation. I'm just waiting on a start date, to be honest. So,
okay. So hold on. All right. So when is the last time you were employed?
The last time I was employed was, I want to say, about 10 months ago.
Okay. And why haven't you been able to obtain any employment, in the past 10 months?
I'm pretty sure it's my background. I actually went and did an orientation for Napa.
I have a probation officer calling me on another case. Give me 1 moment. Okay, if you guys could both come back in video, please. So, Mr. Stinson, have you received our court date notices? And okay, you cannot smoke in court. Come on now. You are in court. Put out your cigarette.
Yeah. Hello.
I shouldn't have to tell you that. Okay, so you're back in court now. Okay. Did you not receive our emails and our phone calls?
No, ma'am. My phone actually has been off. I just got my phone cut back on a couple of days, and Miss Harris just sent me the link to see if you guys were hosting court today.
Okay, and what about your email? You didn't receive any of our emails?
My phone is off, ma'am. I don't have a way to check my email other than through my phone.
Oh, okay. All right. So what about it looks like the address we have, let me put that in. Let me go back to your case. Hold on 1 second. All right. So it looks like we didn't get any return mail. And so I'm just trying to, I always try to give everybody an opportunity to come to court and get things in order. We use the Brannon Road Southeast. Is that your address you were going to share? I'm not giving your street address.
No, ma'am, it's drive address.
Okay, so we sent it to a different address. So we'll need, I know I'll probably put you in with Ms. Carson to get your address and get all your updated information. The issue is, you have an order to pay child support. And so it looks like in September, you were trying to pay something. September, October, November, you made some voluntary payments, but then you just stopped. So, that's why we're here. You got to get on track. You've got to start paying. The fatherhood program states that our records show that you never responded. So they removed you from the program.
Yeah, so through my email, they had me do a sign up. You had to sign up before orientation. I signed up. Like I said, I had just been waiting. I mean, I know I had been checking my emails on that while my phone was active, to even start the program. But
Your Honor, if I could, the notes in his case say that he failed to show up for the 12-5 fatherhood meeting, and so they've rejected him. He's not in the program at this point.
Okay, were you aware of that, Mr. Stinson?
no, I wasn't. I wasn't at all. So do I have to reapply for it, or do I have to go into the actual office, or?
So you shared that you have criminal history. Again, I don't want you advertising what that is, but are you still on probation or parole?
No, ma'am. I'm actually off, and it's kind of crazy because it's like you get a job faster as a convicted felon than someone just with a misdemeanor. Unfortunately.
So you have misdemeanor convictions, not?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I have received this information that this agency often hires people right away. They're in need of hard workers. It's just a warehouse job, but I think they pay pretty well. Let me see if I can find that contact information, because I'm going to, I'm not sure about the fatherhood program. You're going to have to reach out to them, but like, what do you do on a daily basis? How are you getting income? It looks like you have a car. What's going on?
Actually, I'm a mechanic as of right now, and I kind of do freelance work. I kind of try to post my services, online, and it's pretty much with that. It's like a hit or miss, like when I was making the payments, everything was kind of trying to speed up, but right now everything's kind of slowing down. So
are you able to, like, you can't get on with Jiffy Lube or some of those places that?
So the thing about it is, Judge, I done applied for Napa, AutoZone, like everywhere around here that's affiliated, with automobiles, And there's a couple of applications they're just pending, waiting on my background. So it's not like I haven't been. It's just I'm just waiting on the employer to contact me.
Well, I usually come to the conclusion of one of two things. One, my dads are either getting paid under the table and they do have some money. They just got side hustles where they're getting cash. Or two, I think that I understand it's difficult to find a job because it's hard. I mean, you have to know somebody to get a position somewhere. Just putting in a resume does not get a job in this market. And I do understand that. However, you're going to have to step up. Okay. It looks like you guys have a decent relationship when it comes to taking care of your children. I'd like to keep that in place. I'm not going to issue the warrant today, but what I'm going to do is have you see if you can reach out to the fatherhood program to reinstate, because they have so many connections in the community. You just have to get back in that program. So, you should have an email from them. You find out how to reach out to them. And in the second thing, I'm going to give you, someone had given me this information, an agency, when we were in person, and they said they're always looking for people to work. They just need people that want to work and are willing to work hard, which hopefully you're in that position. I can't imagine. Part of me as a judge says, either they're getting paid under the table and want to avoid child support, but I'd have to issue a warrant for your arrest. And that's not my preference to do to anybody, because all that does is keep you on probation until your child is 18. So let me give you this information. Let me find the text on this. Hold on one second.
And I emailed the fatherhood coordinator too and asked for a referral, explained that he said he missed the 12-5 appointment because he didn't know about it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and if you can't keep your phone on, then and if you don't have a computer, then I can understand how that can. I'm not excusing anything, but I can understand if that's true, how that could present complications for you. But it's your responsibility to try to reach out to them and get back. So let me check my. I'm trying to find this number. Just give me one moment, please.
Yeah, Mr. Stinson, you could try the library if your phone is out.
Good idea. So my goal is for you guys, because I do appreciate when families kind of communicate. Ms. Harris said that I picked up that your she saw you're in your child's life. That's most important. But the second most important is giving her the support she needs to take care. I'm sorry, I don't have your case up. Let me pull it up again here.
Once again, you're absolutely right. And like even still, like these days, even when I was coming up as a kid, it more so takes a village, and I'm pretty sure my kids have that strong village around them. As far as anything Miss Harris may need or the kids may need, in a sense, like if she doesn't directly get it from me, she's directly going to get it. And even though I have to pay it back, it's still even though me paying child support, Miss Harris calls anybody in my family pretty much and get anything that she needs. On top of me still having to pay child support, I still have to pay them back too. So I mean, at the same time, it's just good to even have people around you that can kind of help you, because they know your situation. Even still, it's all not a gift, it's a loan. But like I said, once again, it takes a village, and my kids definitely have that village on them. They're not just out here straggling, hungry, homeless, anything of the, it's just
I understand. I mean, I honestly, most of the mothers that come to me in court have their stuff together, but they're also working 1 to 2 to 3 jobs to make ends meet. And so that extra money that you give just is Angel a boy or a girl?
Angel is a girl.
It also lets your daughter, be able to do more things in school and be active. It's very important to keep kids. So here's the number. It's, and I'm, our staff can confirm that you actually called. So I hope you do. And I hope you follow through. It's in DeKalb. So it's 470 545 1087.
Okay.
And can you repeat the number to me to make sure that you took it down correctly?
470-545-1087.
Right. And then it's called Express Employment Professionals. So if you could please give them a call and see what, if anything, you can do with them and try to get some employment immediately and follow up with the fatherhood program. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt on this one, and hopefully we can get you on track. Again, I make an assumption that unless you're getting cash under the table, every person wants to work and have their own income and be independent and financially responsible, because otherwise it makes no sense to me. I don't make an assumption that men don't want to work or women don't want to work, but most of the women do have jobs and do what they need to do. So Miss Harris, he was making some payments. They weren't sufficient, of course, but there was some effort. There's been no payment since November, but I'm not going to issue the warrant right now, Mr. Stinson. I'm going to try to give you an opportunity, even though it may be a second or third time that you've been on here. Your license right now is not suspended. It's not suspended. So we have a member in court with that. So anyway, it's not suspended. Now it's going to be suspended if you don't try to get something on the books as soon as possible. You said, if you know somebody that can just, $50 a week is what you need to do. $50 a week. If you're a mechanic, you're supposed to be paying more, but I'll take $50 a week to give her $200 a month just to break it down. So if every Wednesday you say, okay, here's $50 to child support, and you know how to pay it because you've been paying, but you've been paying $50 a month or $60 a month, you just have to navigate to get $50 a week. You don't want your license suspended. You don't want, to be on probation for the rest of your life until your daughter is 18 on this case. So I'm asking you to step up. Again, as you can hear as a judge, I'm very passionate about families being whole, dads providing support, and everything that needs to be done. So Mom, I hope you're okay with that, but right now I'm not going to issue the warrant. I'm going to go ahead, and my goal is to get Dad back on track, find a good job. He'll feel better about himself, I'm sure. Everybody works it out better, and then things work out in time. You just got to trust my process, okay? I'm not going to issue the warrant today. So Dad, you got to figure out how to get up $50, go work with the moving company. They're always hiring people. Whatever you can do. It's just right now I'm not reducing your child support order, but I'll take $50 a week just for right now to get you back on track. And then we're going to reset the case to see how things are going. I've given you a number for employment. So once you get employed, we'll take the money directly out of your paycheck, which is always our goal. And again, you're lucky that your child support, that your license is not suspended. So let's go ahead and get on top of that really quickly before that happens. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sounds good. So let me tell you guys when we're going to see you again. Let me give you the reset court date. But before we do that, I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Ms. Carson, because we need to get your updated email address, your home address, as well as your proper phone number. I'm going to get that before, but let me give you the reset date so you can know I'm telling you when to come back to court. And I'll put my notes in here that you'll follow up with the fatherhood program. I've given you an employment agency that I know for a fact is hiring. They're always reaching out saying, and they hire people that are convicted misdemeanor or felonies. That doesn't stop them, but they do have employers that are willing to give people jobs. So where did my calendar go? Okay, let's see. Bear with me here.
No problem. Thank you for bearing with me.
Oh, you're welcome. And mom seems to be okay. She just wants you to get back on track as well. Why am I not able to follow my calendar? Just give me a second. Okay, here it is. All right. So let's look at, I usually do my resets on the 4th. So let's look at, I know this is a little bit far out, but I'm just hoping by the time you come back, you are paying and you're consistent so I can get you back on track and dismiss this criminal application. So let's just go ahead and say, I'll see you guys. I usually give 6 weeks to get back on track. So we'll see you April 26th. By then, I'm just confirming what I'm expecting is $50 payments a week. Contact since you're a mechanic, you have a talent, you have a skill, $50 a week on top of that. Try to reach back out to the fatherhood program to see if they have mechanic jobs available. And then that avoids me issuing a warrant as long as you're participating, and reach out to that agency that I just sent you. That's more warehouse jobs, but still it's money. You can still do your side hustle to get your own money, but
Yeah.
get it, pay your child support, especially if you have other children. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So the case is reset. I'm going to put in my docket notes in. Ms. Harris, is there anything that you need to add?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys for coming to court today, and have a good weekend, and we'll see you guys in April so I can see what's going on. And Mr. Stinson, I'm really putting it on you to step up and make sure you do what you need to do. Okay.
Excuse me, Judge, do you want him to still go talk to Miss Carson, Attorney Carson?
Yes. And then she'll forward the information to us.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So
All right, thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Miss Wright. Okay. Miss Wright, I did call. I did hear from the probation officer, and Mr. Wright is still on probation. So she gave me her email to have you email her next week. She's not available today. So I'm putting it just for you. Mr. Wright, you may want to check in with Miss Taylor too, if you still know how to check in with her. She did say that he has multiple cases open. And so she said she can, even though, because the case is already open, don't issue another warrant, but just have you contact her. So I'm giving you her, let's see, make sure I put this right. So Mr. Wright, what you need to do is follow up with Miss Taylor as well. You should know how to reach, I don't know if you know how to reach her. Just to let her know what's going on with you, because Miss Wright, if he is in a disability status, then most judges aren't going to go forward with a continuing warrant, but they'll find a way that he needs to pay. But the burden's on him to prove that. So I'm sending you.
One thing I just want to say that he always, when we go to court, he always throw his disability up. Like he has surgery, his hand, foot, elbow, eyes. It's the same thing over and over again.
Okay, so if you can make a note, Ms. Carson, that he hasn't made a payment, in a long time. So I cannot issue a warrant. He's already that case is still open. It has not been closed. So you can't reapply for us, but go ahead. I sent you the chat. Did you get it?
I'm looking for it. The notes.
It would be in the chat that I just sent you. I hope I sent it to you. Yes, I did. Do you see it?
Okay, yes. And also, where do I go to do the civil thing?
You could talk to Ms. Carson. Ms. Carson, how does she pursue the contempt as well? Oh, I'm sorry, you're muted. Ms. Carson, you're muted.
I came in and didn't catch everything that was going on. This is case number.
It's already open. This is Mr. Stinson, Mr. Wright,
Okay.
position.
All right. I've already emailed the supervisor to ask about the contempt.
Okay. All right. So, do you still have Ms. Taylor's information, Mr. Wright? Because she said you had a few cases open. Mr. Wright, can you unmute for me, please?
I'm trying to figure out what other cases do I have open.
I don't know that they're still open, but she said you had multiple. Did you have other children that went through child support? I think everything is closed on those other cases, but you still have this one that's pending, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so you need to get in touch with her, follow up with her before the case gets to court. And so I'm putting here, father's case still open.
Your Honor, I've been dealing with my daughter personal.
Like helping her out directly?
Oh, yes, that's not true. She's right here if you want to talk to her.
Okay, hold on. Please don't do that. Okay, well, mom is saying you didn't, but that has nothing to do with me. You guys take that up with probation. I'm not going to get.
I've been dealing with my daughter personal.
Well, I mean, if you're seeing her, that's one thing, but if you're giving her any money, it's supposed to go to mom, not to your daughter. So hold on a second. I'm going to mute you. I don't want to open up that Pandora's box. Mother will file a civil contempt and contact the probation officer. This case is dismissed. All right, that's it, guys. Mama gave you the guidance on what needs to be done. Ms. Carson's reached out to file the civil contempt. Dad has the burden of proving and that he is not able to do any type of employment at all. And both of you should contact Ms. Taylor, the probation officer, and the case is still open. So that makes our case dismissed because I can't do it. All right. So that concludes our hearing, and your case is dismissed. And you guys have a good afternoon, but everything will be done with probation.
Okay, she still haven't told me where to go about the civil suit.
Oh, they're gonna contact you, Ms. Carson. Is that right?
Yeah, I've already sent the email to the supervisor asking about a contempt in this.
Okay.
Okay. All right. You guys
Thank
have a
you.
good. All right. You're welcome. Have a good day.